Welcome to Madison City Channel Know Your Candidates interviews, co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Dane County. I'm Marilyn Townsend, your interviewer, and I would like to introduce Sean O'Brien, running for Alder in District 16. Welcome, Mr. O'Brien.
Thank you.
As we begin, please give an opening statement about the educational, vocational, and civic experience you have, which prepares you for this office and why you are running for Alder.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much for the question. As was said, my name is Sean O'Brien, and I am a lifelong Madisonian. I've lived in Madison for 26 years. I grew up on the east side of Madison. I went to our city's public schools. I'm an Eagle Scout, and I had my first job here on the east side of Madison at the Chocolatarian Cafe on Atwood Avenue, where I started as dishwasher and worked my way up to manager. I attended Edgewood College, where I got a degree in political science and a minor in photography. And then I bought my first home right here in District 16. And now I work as the policy and advocacy director at Fair Wisconsin, our state's only LGBTQ civil rights organization. And I also serve on the Richmond Hill Condo Association board. And I believe that this myriad of experiences has taught me how to listen, how to lead, and how to advocate for others. And I also have had the chance to really learn the government process and be able to get things done and learn little tricks and tips at how to really move things along. So I am running for Madison Common Council because I believe that our city is at a crossroads. As I said, I've lived here for 26 years and I've seen the city grow and change. And we're the fastest growing city in Madison, and that presents us with a lot of unique opportunities and challenges. And I'm really excited to roll up my sleeves and help tackle some of the toughest issues that are facing our city, whether that's affordable housing and public transportation, to public safety, or increasing transparency and communication from our government. And I think it's time for a new generation of leadership to move Madison forward and to help keep Madison the beautiful place that all of us call home. Thank you.
How would you evaluate the city's current efforts to address homelessness and increase the amount of affordable housing? Are there additional steps the city should take to address these issues?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer that we must use every tool that we have as a city to address housing, affordability of housing, and homelessness, and ensure that nobody in our city is displaced because of the cost of housing or the lack of access to housing. I am absolutely an advocate for increasing and diversifying the housing stock that our city has, and I am committed to also investing in the Affordable Housing Fund to make sure that we're maximizing support for folks who need affordable housing. I am a first-time homeowner, and I've seen the pinch that happens with housing. My parents also lived on a fixed income, and they just had to sell their house. So I'm seeing it from both ends, and we need to continue to make sure that we're investing. We also need to make sure that for those who are experiencing homelessness, that they have adequate access to shelter and to programs to help get them back on their feet and to help move them into a better place. And that also looks like investing in programs that have been working to provide them food and shelter, clothing, job training, and other modes to get them throughout the city, whether that's access to public transit, job opportunities, and other businesses. Was
What,
there a second part to that question that I missed there?
um, would you like me to repeat the question?
You wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah. How would you evaluate the city's current efforts to address homelessness and increase the amount of affordable housing? Are there additional steps the city should take to address these issues?
I think I said everything that I really want to say. Thank you.
What actions or program would you support to enhance public safety in Madison? And in particular, what is your position on the use of body cameras by Madison police officers, given the recent demonstration project?
Yeah. So I believe that we shouldn't just be fighting crime, but we should be trying to prevent it. And as a city, we should be investing more resources in addressing the root causes of crime. We need to make sure that we have equitable access to city services. We need to make sure that we're meeting people's basic needs. That includes housing, healthcare, city services, food, job opportunities, public transit. There's a million different things that we can do to make sure that people's needs are being met. We also have to continue to invest in programs that are working. The CARES program, the community response program through the Madison Fire Department. We absolutely need to continue to invest in this program. We need to continue to invest in mental health resources, substance abuse prevention, and rehabilitation services. And we also need to be investing in after-school programming for our youth. That's so critical. We need to make sure that we're making our streets safe. And we need to be preventing traffic deaths and traffic-related injuries. And that would be investing in programs like Vision Zero. We need to continue to make sure folks have access to safe bike lanes, and that pedestrians can get from one side of the street to the other very, very safely. In terms of working with law enforcement, I'm very committed to working with law enforcement in Madison. And as far as body cameras, it's an issue that I'm still learning about. And I'm certainly open to the idea of body cameras, but I also know that there's a significant price tag with it. And as I want to get a better understanding of our city's budget and our financial position, but I am open to the option of body cameras.
In the wake of the recent referendum to increase property taxes, what are your priorities for the city budget?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. In November, the voters passed the city referendum to keep our city services funded. But as a homeowner, I saw my property taxes increased. And as a first-time home buyer and as somebody who's living with parents who are on a fixed income, I'm seeing this squeeze, I'm seeing this pinch, and I'm feeling it myself. And so there are things that we need to do in the short term, and there are things that we need to do in the long term to keep Madison affordable. In the short term, we need to find ways to reduce the cost of living in Madison. We need to help those who are struggling to make ends meet. And we need to continue to invest in programs like property tax assistance for seniors, like MadCap, the Madison Customer Assistance Program, which provides monthly credits to those living on tight incomes to help them with their municipal service bills. And as all are, I'm committed to finding different incentives and different credits to help people afford to live in Madison and be able to enter the housing market and keep people in their homes so that nobody's getting displaced or priced out. Long term, we need to improve our city's fiscal position. And the way that we're going to start doing that is by making sure that we are getting a fair deal for shared revenue. Right now, Madison is being starved by the state of Wisconsin for resources. So for the average city receives $195 in shared revenue. Madison receives just $29 per resident of shared revenue. And if elected, I am absolutely committed to working on securing a fair shared revenue deal for our city as we continue to grow so we don't have to continue to rely on the question or rely on either raising property taxes or cutting city services. I have strong relationships that I've been able to build in the state legislature on both sides of the aisle, and I am confident that we will be able to come to a more equitable, a long-term funding options for the city of Madison. So thank you.
How should Madison balance the need for development with other concerns such as traffic, historic preservation, and conservation of natural areas?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a question of balance, we have to make sure that we're being responsible with the development and the preservation of historic areas, especially when we're looking at downtown Madison and also some of the historic farmlands that exist on the edge of town. Some of them which exist right here in District 16. In fact, there's one on Buckeye Road as we're driving in. We need to be responsible with our development, and we need to have clear communication with other groups that are responsible for historic preservation, and we need to also work with developers to make sure that we're being responsible.
What are the most critical issues that you see facing the people in your district, and what would you propose to address them?
Yeah, I think that's a twofold question. I think part of it is the issues that are facing the whole city that impact the district. That's affordability, that's access to public transportation, and that's at clear and regular communication from the government to the citizens and from elected officials to the citizens. And I think there's a lot of areas that we need to improve. But I'm also, going out on doors, I'm talking to folks, and I'm hearing things that folks want stoplights, they want speed bumps, they want street lights when they're walking their dogs. They want to make sure that their roads are in good condition and that their neighborhoods are safe and that their parks are clean. And so, there's so much that we can do to continue to address the larger issues that are facing the city and also make sure that we're delivering for the everyday quality of life that our residents are looking for.
What would you like to say to the viewing audience as we complete this interview?
Yeah. Well, first, thank you for taking the time to, put on this interview, making sure that everybody has access to the voting process and learning about their candidates is so important. And we know that when folks participate in democracy, our democracy is stronger and more accessible for everybody. I decided that I wanted to run for alder because I want to give back. I want to give back to the communities that have raised me, that have taught me so much, and have helped be there for me. And I want to be there for the communities. And I'm really excited to roll up my sleeves and tackle the tough issues. If you want to learn more about me, you can visit seanformadison.com. I have a whole bunch of issues on there as well if you want to keep learning or get involved with the campaign.
I want to thank Sean O'Brien for speaking with us and thank the viewing audience for taking the time to know your candidates. I want to remind everyone that the general election is Tuesday, April 1st, 2025. Every election is important. Please vote. On behalf of Madison City Channel and the League of Women Voters of Dane County, I thank you for joining us.